Orange, Piccolo, and Broly are two of the strongest, insanely powerful characters in modern Dragon Ball, and big parts of Dragon Ball Super Broly and Dragon Ball Super Superhero. So if they ever fought, it would rumble the entire universe. But who would win? On today's video, we're going to discuss Orange Piccolo versus Broly, and trust me, it's not as easy as you think to figure this out, but today we're going to break it down. Down in the description below, I have a link to my new third channel, Realm of Geekdom, where I'm going to be uploading all of my classic podcasts, along with new episodes coming out very soon, where I'm going to have some crazy interviews, stuff that I promise you're not expecting. Over there at Realm of Geekdom, the link is down below. Give me a subscription, check out some of the shows we have on there, and there's tons more to come on that channel. Now, let's get to the video. Orange Piccolo versus Super Saiyan Broly, final form or legendary Super Saiyan Broly from Dragon Ball Super Superhero. This is a battle of pure, raw, unadulterated power. These are two of the most physically dominating and physically powerful characters, just based on pure strength, that have ever existed in Dragon Ball. UI Goku has an incredible amount of speed and technique. We've got Gohan with the rawness. We've got Vegeta with his kind of killer instinct, and he's also a pretty intelligent fighter. But when it comes to just pure, just muscular power, Orange Piccolo, Broly, Jiren, these are the guys that are kind of at the head of the table. So I want to discuss today Orange Piccolo versus Broly. Who wins? Because it's not as easy as you may think. Joining me on this video, and I want to do y'all to give me a favor, or to do me a favor, pause the video, go subscribe to Keelan, Prided Waif. I'll leave a link down below. Just pause this video, go check out his channel, subscribe, and then come back and finish this one. So hopefully you're back by now. What's up, bro?
What's going on, everybody? This is an interesting battle we have on our hands.
Right. When it comes to like Gohan, Beast, and Broly, Beast is like overwhelming, and then we've got like Black Frieza. He's on a different level. Here, though, it's a bit harder, and we were talking a little bit about this before we started recording, and you made a very interesting comment where you said that technique-wise, Broly is weaker than almost everybody else because Piccolo is a fighting genius. We know this based on not only him being a character who's been there forever, but when Majin Buu absorbs Piccolo, he straight up tells Gohan, I have Piccolo's fighting genius. He knows a lot of techniques. He knows a lot of traps and tricks to fight. He's very intelligent. So when it comes to techniques, Piccolo's got Broly beat. But when it comes to pure power, different story. Now, I want to bring up this point real quick. In Dragon Ball Super Superhero, Piccolo and Cell Max are duking it out. They're just pounding each other. Pause. They're going at it. Piccolo turns giant, and it's like a big kaiju fight. You know, they're wrestling around, and that was probably the peak of Piccolo. And he was able to fight. He was losing at the end, but he was able to fight off Cell Max, and he was able to hold Cell Max. Toriyama made the comment about how had Cell Max been completed, yada yada, he'd be stronger than Broly. So I think some people take that and think, oh, well, Broly's still stronger than Cell Max, which that might not necessarily be true. Now, when it comes to scaling, Piccolo in the movie says that Gamma 1 and 2 are somewhat equal to Goku and Vegeta, but Piccolo has not seen them in their Ultra Instinct, Ultra Ego from the Granola arc, which is where they really got strong. So if we're talking about like Moro or Tournament of Power level Goku and Vegeta, Piccolo one-shotted Gamma 2 and knocked him straight out clean. So to me, it seems like Orange Piccolo is higher than Blue. You seem to think they're closer?
Yeah, I think they're actually closer than being anything else. I think Piccolo is actually on the Blue level. He could be a little bit above Blue. He could be equal to Blue. He's just in that Blue. He's not in the Ultra Ego, Ultra Instinct tier range. The God that God of Destruction level tier ranges, in my opinion.
No, I agree with that. I just think that he's above. Now, I'm not saying he's like super above Blue, but that one punch to Gamma 2, that's what sells it for me, bro, because that he just wham, like, and the dude hit the ground.
He knocked him out, but you gotta factor in that Gamma 2 came back from that.
Yeah, he didn't kill him.
And he knocked him out, but Gamma 2 came back from that and performed a greater feat than what Piccolo was actually able to show at all against Cell Max, and that's he was actually able to harm Cell Max and
You're
cut
talking
off his.
you're talking about when he did the diving move from space.
He used his full. Yeah, of course, it killed him, or whatever. But that was all of his power being released into it. But they actually nerfed Cell Max for Piccolo to and he also got nerfed again from being hit by fat tanks, and it cracked his
Right.
head. I
Dude,
wonder how that.
a lot of people miss that detail, y'all. And that is a detail. Piccolo does say after the fight with Cell Max that Gamma 2 weakened Cell Max with that suicide bomb. So that is a good, I mean, I love that. But I think a lot of folks, when they're like watching this, they forget that line. Like
Did
Gamma
that
2,
happen?
everybody did their part. So here's the question then. If Orange Piccolo is around blue, maybe a bit higher, we saw Broly in the movie run through Super Saiyan Blue Goku and Vegeta. So if you're looking at this objectively, does that mean that Broly wins?
Yes, well, Broly has better comparisons as well. He has the comparison to Beerus. He has the comparison. He was actually equaled Super Saiyan Gogeta in his Super Saiyan form, and then surpassed Super Saiyan Gogeta when he went Super Saiyan full power, and for his Gogeta to skip all of his forms and go to his strongest form, which is blue. And he had to stay at that. And he actually got stronger when fighting Gogeta. It just wasn't enough. Gogeta blue. Now, how I look at it for Orange Piccolo is individually with Goku and Vegeta, they're not fused. I think he's on that blue in that blue level a little bit stronger or maybe comparable because we got to understand that blue also got significantly way stronger too,
Right.
from the Mora arc to the Granola arc. So
Yes.
that's also have to factor in as well. And plus, Vegeta and Goku can use their godly techniques and godly power or whatever in their other Super Saiyan forms. So let's say like a Super Saiyan Blue Goku using the technique of the gods of Ultra Instinct put together. Can Orange Piccolo actually handle that? Plus with the Kaioken, if he was that tap into that, I don't know that. We don't know those questions. So I think that's something to think about, whatever. But
Yeah.
regardless, I do
Right.
think Orange Piccolo is strong. I just don't think he compared to Broly's peak. Now, he may be able to comparable to like a base Broly. He probably stronger than base Broly. I'm pretty positive he probably is. But he's more like on the peak of like Super Saiyan Broly. Like I can see Orange Piccolo fighting like a Super Saiyan Gogeta or something like that at this time, because this is like 2 years later. So this is a much stronger Piccolo.
Right, and the tricky part is the whole thing about Broly's growth as a fighter, and that's we bring that up a lot when we do these breakdowns because that's his it factor, that's his secret weapon.
Yeah.
Orange Piccolo could be beating on this dude for 5 6 minutes straight, just beating on his ass, just pounding him, and Broly's gonna get stronger from it. Similar to what Ultra Ego Vegeta does, except that with Broly, it's a combination of that survival instinct and that rage, plus the fact that he's basically a mutant. I think people forget that Broly, and both in the original Dragon Ball Z movies and Super, is basically a mutant Saiyan who was born with this insane potential, a legend. And
Right.
so with that being said, I know some people might have a hard time understanding why this is an interesting fight because what happens is, and people do this all the time, because Superhero came out after Broly, I think in people's heads that recency bias kicks in where they think, okay, well, it's the newest thing, so that means that Orange Piccolo and Gohan Beast and Cell Max are all stronger than Broly because Broly was not the new thing, right? It's sort of like that Kid Buu versus Buhan thing where
Well, yeah.
some people just pick Kid Buu as being the strongest because of the fact that he's the last guy they fought in the Buu saga, but it's a bit more complex than that because Superhero does not show the Saiyans on Beerus's planet interacting with the Earth battle at all. They don't even
They
sense
don't
it.
even sense it. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's what I was gonna say. They don't even sense that.
and that to me is still very weird, bro. I hope that the manga fixes that. But who cares? The bottom line is it just seems like it seems like Broly might take it, bro. Like it really does. I would love to see them fight only because they're giants, and it's like Brock Lesnar and Omos, except way more entertaining.
Yeah.
Broly would be over here like they'd be grappling, they'd be throwing each other around. We'd have craters all over the planet. It would just be a pure fight with fisticuffs. Piccolo might be able to out technique him, and he can stretch his arms out. There's a lot of things Piccolo can do, but pure power, bro. Broly's growth factor. I mean, what do you think?
Yeah, how I see the battle playing out, actually, I think Piccolo will come out, use a lot of different techniques and strategies, blinding attacks. He has a lot of different moves he can use, the Hellzone grenade, all of that. And then he's probably just gonna try to appear when he sees that Broly is unaffected, because even Vegeta, when he had punched Broly several times, though, it was like Broly was just unaffected by all of the hits, whatever. It's just making Broly, more enraged, and he's getting more out of control. So I see Piccolo see that. I think Piccolo is just gonna go straight ultimate. He might even skip ultimate, just go straight to Orange Piccolo and probably try to, put him out of his misery, like Super Saiyan God Vegeta try to do Broly. But Broly's gonna come back and be like, "You thought this was over?" And he probably gonna start ragdolling Orange Piccolo all over the place or whatever. And he might have to even turn Super Saiyan or whatnot. So I think when he turns Super Saiyan, I really think that's when the fight is kind of over, because I do think Orange Piccolo would be dominating Broly. It just won't affect Broly. It won't really do much to Broly. So I do think Broly would overpower Orange Piccolo, and it'll be a one-sided grappling fest.
Yeah, well, yeah, bro. Once Broly matches him or supersedes him in power, it's game over. At that point, they're gonna have to do what Goku and Vegeta did in the Broly movie, which is retreat, maybe come back. And I mean, Piccolo wouldn't fuse, but they'd have to come up with something else. It
Yeah,
does, yeah, it does sort of feel like the lesson to be learned for everyone who's watching this now is try to be careful with recency bias, because yes, superhero did come out after Broly, but just because that happened, that doesn't necessarily mean that Broly is so far behind everybody else just because of that growth factor. You have to remember how quickly Broly went from being under God to being above Blue. It was minutes. The
yeah,
same fight. He didn't even rest. Like, it was one thing if he would have rested and gotten a Zenkai out of it. He was just in the fight. So
yeah,
we're talking about a real problem here. And if it was Broly versus Piccolo, similar to Broly versus or similar to Piccolo versus Cell Max, all the times that Piccolo and Cell Max are duking it out, Broly would be getting stronger. Cell Max does not get stronger. Like you pointed
yeah.
out earlier, the Gamma 2 sacrifice lowered Cell Max's power. And
And he
so,
still was whooping on Piccolo with one arm. Just he would
yep.
dominate him, actually. Even the techniques that Piccolo tried to use on him, didn't really affect that Cell Max. Cell Max, it just made him more upset, and he just started just pummeling
Yeah.
Piccolo's head. He even thought he was dead at one point. But
But don't forget, and by the way, y'all should not forget to leave a like and subscribe if you're new, and leave a comment down below. Don't forget also the fact that when Cell Max and Orange Piccolo are fighting, like after Cell Max blasts Piccolo and Gohan becomes Beast, Piccolo is able to get up and wrap his arms around Cell Max. So one of the things I think people are missing is how resilient Orange Piccolo is. Because
yeah,
yeah, Cell Max was pounding him, but the minute that Cell Max was distracted by Gohan, Piccolo was able to bounce back enough to tie up Cell Max with his stretchy arms. So one of the things that could be a situation. Now again, I'm not confirming this, but I'm just guessing, is that Orange Piccolo in that form may have some kind of a light healing factor. We know that Namekians can regenerate, but maybe Orange Piccolo, and I'm saying maybe, has the ability to come back from getting beat up quick. Like he might be a dude where you beat him up, yeah, it's gonna hurt. You can hurt him real bad, but he's gonna be able to bounce back because as a Namekian, if he can already regenerate tissue, you would assume that with Orange Piccolo would be triple the power of regeneration. The dude would be out and be like Wolverine. So again, only speculation, but he came back pretty quickly, bro, and was able to
yeah.
hold down Cell Max.
He he did. I think it's more so he has a higher endurance factor. He's able to sustain
Yeah,
a more beating.
but
It's similar to like Moro. When Moro was going against Ultra Instinct, we know that Ultra Instinct was able to beat him with a flick of a wrist, but he was just tanking everything. He was just enduring every single thing, even from Meredith. He was just enduring everything thrown at him. even though he's was nowhere close to him in power at all. So I do think Orange Piccolo does have that same, he has an upper higher level of durability, just like Frieza taking a pounding from Broly, who was way above him too, for a whole hour, and just
Right.
taking a beating. So these levels, at these blue levels and God 2 level, I do think these characters can take more of a beating and sustain more of a beating, even though they're probably nowhere close to them in power, unless they just, they take a full power key wave or something like that, that comes behind it. But I also think there's also one other thing that is a detail that's also missed. I think everybody always forget this involving Broly.
Mm-hmm.
When Beerus shows up and he asks, "Who is that?" and we tell him, "Oh, it's Broly's son," and he said, "What? Why did you bring that maniac here?"
I
You know,
mean, I took that more as Beerus was afraid of his planet being destroyed by Broly on
but
accident, right?
yeah. But it doesn't matter if it's on accident because Beerus can nullify all energy and all ki, as he's shown
Yeah,
he's been able to do. So
yeah.
if Beerus is afraid that that's a possibility, that means not even Beerus can nullify all of that energy. That means that that energy would be too great for him to
Well,
nullify.
that's a maybe. We can't say, like, I'm just gonna step in and say that's we don't have that information. Like, he can nullify energy, right? But it
Yeah.
depends on the context. Beerus may have been worried about Broly, his power, but again, I took it more as like, why is that maniac here? Because he saw what the dude was doing on Earth. He's probably worried that Broly's gonna destroy his planet, eat his food. I don't think it's that Beerus is afraid of Broly, but maybe he is. I mean, the theory
I
about.
think.
Go
Oh, go
ahead.
ahead.
No, you go ahead.
I was gonna say I think it's more. I think so because when they showed Broly and his planet going boom, like he was making a key blast, and they showed Beerus' planet. I think that was what was being directed. It's not a fact, all right. It's just more so
Right.
going off of the evidence of what was being shown and the illustration that they showed with it. I was just throwing that out there though. I'm
Right.
just saying.
Actually, no, I'm glad you did. Leave a comment also down below, y'all. I'm curious to get your thoughts on whether or not you think that specific scene, Beerus was afraid of Broly's power or afraid of Broly's lack of control, or both. I just want people to kind of, give us their thoughts because there is different ways to look at this. But either way, based on what you said about endurance, which I agree with, this fight is long. I think if they fought, it would actually go some time. It ain't going to be like Cell Max and Gohan. I think they could actually beat each other up for quite some time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, anyways, y'all, hope you enjoyed it. Thanks again, and we'll catch you in the next video.